It starts before you notice it. That feeling, like something shifted, but you can't explain when. You're still here. Nothing is wrong, even if it feels different. You're still exactly where you were. There's movement now, a low vibration, a quiet hum beneath everything. It doesn't need your attention. You don't have to react to it, just let it happen. Things begin to change, not all at once, just enough for you to notice. The space feels different. The air feels heavier, older, quieter, but you're still here. You don't need to understand it. You don't need to figure it out. Some things aren't meant to be solved. They're meant to be experienced. There's a moment where most people would tense up, where they would try to take control, but you don't need to do that. You can just stay. Let it move around you. Let it shift. Let it change. You don't have to move with it. You might feel like you're going deeper, like you've gone somewhere you didn't plan to go, but nothing is taking you. You're still choosing to be here. The sound changes, the feeling changes, the environment changes, but you don't. There's a calm that sits underneath all of this. Not loud, not obvious, but steady, unmoved by what's happening around it. That's where you are, right there. Not in the noise, not in the movement. Underneath it. You don't need to follow every shift. You don't need to respond to every change. You can just observe it without becoming part of it. There's something about staying still when everything else is moving that changes how it feels. It stops being overwhelming and starts becoming predictable. You begin to see it differently, not as something happening to you, but something happening around you. And that's a different kind of control. Not forcing anything, not stopping anything, just not being pulled by it. It slows down, or maybe you stopped speeding up. Either way, you're still here, and nothing that's changed has changed you. Let it continue. Let it shift again. Let it become something else. You don't need to follow it there. You can stay exactly where you are, calm, steady, unaffected. Because the truth is, it was never about the environment. It was about whether you moved with it, and you didn't. So now, it doesn't matter where it goes next. You'll still be here. You're still here. That matters more than whatever changed around you. A lot of people confuse movement with danger. They feel something shift, and their mind decides it has to mean something bad. But movement is not always a warning. Sometimes it's just movement. A low hum, a slight pull, a different sound in the room, a change in pressure, a change in light, a change in what surrounds you. None of that means you have to leave yourself. None of that means you have to hand yourself over to whatever happens next. You can notice it without becoming it. That's the difference. You can hear something unfamiliar without letting it decide how you feel. You can see something strange without giving it control. You can be inside a moment without being taken by it. That kind of calm doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. It just stays where it is, quiet, steady, unafraid of change. There's a kind of strength that doesn't fight back. It doesn't raise its voice, it doesn't tense up, it doesn't rush, it just remains. And sometimes, remaining is more powerful than reacting, because reaction belongs to whatever startled you, but steadiness belongs to you. That's yours. No environment gets to take that unless you hand it over. So let the sound keep going. Let the light keep changing. Let the walls feel different. Let the view outside shift. Let the distance open. Let the depth change. Let the air feel older. Let the room feel smaller. Let the world feel larger. You don't have to match any of it. You don't have to rise with it. You don't have to sync with it. You don't have to become more tense just because something became unfamiliar. Most people don't realize how much energy they waste trying to prepare for things that have already happened. They tighten up after the shift. They brace after the sound. They panic after the movement already passed through, as if fear can rewind a moment and make them safer, but it can't. And once you understand that, something gets quieter in you. Not because the world got softer, because you stopped racing it. You stopped trying to arrive at safety before the moment did. You stopped trying to outthink every change. You stopped trying to predict every turn. And in that stillness, something useful happens. You begin to realize that not everything deserves your full reaction. Some things only need your awareness. That's enough. Just awareness. Not a performance, not a response, not a decision made too early. Just the simple act of noticing and staying with yourself. There's power in that, a kind of discipline that almost no one talks about. The ability to remain whole while things move around you. The ability to witness uncertainty without becoming uncertain. The ability to sit inside a changing environment and not turn against yourself. That matters. Because once you learn that, pressure changes. It loses some of its theater. It loses some of its authority. It stops feeling like a command and starts feeling like information. This moved. That changed. The sound got louder. The light got lower. The room got narrower. The distance got deeper. Fine. Let it. You are still allowed to stay measured. You are still allowed to keep your center. You are still allowed to move slowly inside a fast feeling. That's not weakness. That's control without force. And that kind of control lasts longer. Anyone can react. Anyone can speed up. Anyone can let the moment take over their nervous system. But not everyone can stay calm long enough to see what the moment actually is. That takes something else. It takes patience. It takes trust. Not trust that everything is perfect. Not trust that nothing difficult will ever happen. Just trust that you do not need to abandon yourself every time something shifts. That's enough. Right now. That's enough. You do not need to rush ahead of the moment. You do not need to fill every silence. You do not need to explain every feeling. You do not need to give every sensation a meaning. Sometimes a hum is just a hum. Sometimes a shadow is just a shadow. Sometimes the unfamiliar is simply unfamiliar. And that is not the same thing as danger. The mind likes to combine them. It sees change and wants a story. It hears a new sound and wants a threat. It feels a drop in certainty and wants a conclusion. But you don't need to give it one right away. You can let a moment remain open. You can let it stay unresolved. You can let uncertainty be unfinished without forcing yourself to panic in the meantime. That is maturity. That is steadiness. That is emotional control in its real form. Not pretending not to feel, not trying to be numb, just refusing to make every shift more dramatic than it already is. There is enough intensity in the world without you adding to it. There is enough pressure without you multiplying it. So let the scene change. Let the setting move. Let the perspective widen. Let one environment become another. Let one feeling turn into the next. You are not required